Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to be featuring a Brawl deck with Grazilaxx Illithid Scholar as our commander as part of our series of Brawl videos featuring commanders from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Grazilaxx draws a card whenever one or more of our creatures deal combat damage to the opponent, so he rewards us for playing evasive creatures. Grazilaxx can also protect our creatures. If the opponent blocks one or more of our attacking creatures, Grazilaxx can return those creatures to our hand. Let's look at the deck breakdown, starting with our ramp. We have the new staple in Brawl, Chrome Mox, which is free to cast and can lead to explosive starts, while Wayfarer's Bauble can be sacrificed to put an extra basic land in play. And we have pretty much all of the 2-mana ramp artifacts available on Arena as well. Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Guardian Idol, Mind Stone, Ornithopter of Paradise, Sapphire Medallion, Solar Transformer, and the Iron Crag. Next we have Discard Synergy cards, discarding cards being a sub-theme of our deck. Daring Saboteur has an activated ability to make itself unblockable, and lets us loot if it hits the opponent, while we can discard a card to make Ghostly Pilferer unblockable. The Pilferer also lets us draw cards at the cost of 2 mana when it untaps, as well as whenever the opponent casts their commander, or more rarely, another spell not from their hand. Pilfering Hawk is a small evasive threat that can chip in for damage early and loot to get rid of unwanted cards and look for action, while triggering our discard synergies, while Scrounging Skyray picks up +1/+1 counters whenever we discard cards, and can be cycled if we draw it late. Shoreline Looter can't be blocked, and loots when it hits the opponent, but once our graveyard is full it draws cards instead, while Wharf Infiltrator can't be blocked by larger creatures, and loots when it hits the opponent, and whenever we discard a card while the Infiltrator is in play, we can pay 2 mana to create an Eldrazi Horror token. Key to the City lets us discard a card to make one of our creatures unblockable, and can draw a card at the cost of 2 mana when it untaps, while Monument to Endurance is our main discard payoff, as it can draw a card, create a treasure token, or deal 3 damage to the opponent whenever we discard one or more cards while it is in play. Racer's Scoreboard draws 2 cards and discards a card when it enters, and if we reach max speed gives our spells a discount, while finally, Ormos, Archive Keeper, is an evasive threat who can let us discard 3 cards to draw 5 cards. Next we have our interaction, predominantly counterspells. Spell Pierce is an efficient counterspell for non-creature spells, while Strict Serenade and Swan Song give the opponent a bird token when they counter a spell. Wash Away, meanwhile, is perfect against the opponent's commander. Censor can be cycled late in the game, which also triggers our discard synergies, while Disdainful Stroke counters expensive spells. Essence Scatter and Essence Capture counter creature spells, while Keep Safe can protect one of our creatures from removal. Negate counters a non-creature spell, while Tail's End is good against the opponent's commander. There's the classic counterspell, and the busted Mana Drain, while Hypnotic Sprite has an adventure, Mesmeric Glare, that lets us counter a cheap spell, and can later be played as an evasive threat. Swift Foot Boots give the creature we attach it to hexproof and haste, while Icebind Pillar can tap opposing artifacts or creatures, and it is one of the reasons why we are playing snow basics in our mana base. Admiral's Order can be cast for a single blue mana if we've attacked, while Sink into Stupor can be played as a land, or bounce a spell on the stack or a non-land permanent in play back to the opponent's hand. Finally, Dungeon Geists is an evasive threat that taps down an opposing creature for as long as it is in play. Next we have our evasive creatures or ways of making our creatures evasive. Ascendant Spirit can be leveled up to become a progressively larger creature, and can eventually draw cards, while Gingerbrute has an activated ability to make it so that it can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. Hope of Ghirapur is a flyer that can be sacrificed so that the opponent can't cast non-creature spells on their next turn if the Hope hits them. While Lost Jitte can prevent an opposing creature from blocking if we remove a charge counter from it, the Lost Jitte has other useful abilities as well. Manifold Key can make one of our creatures unblockable, while Warkite Marauder is a flyer that shrinks down an opposing creature when it attacks. Kefnet the Mindful can only attack or block if we have at least 7 cards in hand, but it is also indestructible. Mist Syndicate Naga makes copies of itself when it hits the opponent, which can get out of hand if all of the copies of it can keep hitting the opponent, while Aegis Sculptor has built-in protection and can pick up +1/+1 counters if we exile cards from our graveyard. Wonder gives all our creatures flying if it is in the graveyard and we control an island, so it is a great card to discard with our discard outlets. Finally, Sphinx of Foresight lets us scry at the beginning of our upkeep while it is in play, and can be revealed from our hand at the start of the game to scry 3, helping us set up our initial draws. Next, we have our card advantage spells and synergy pieces. Ominous Seas can create huge Kraken tokens the more cards we draw, while the Key to the Vault lets us cast a spell for free if we hit the opponent with a creature it is attached to. The Verbose Host gives us no maximum hand size, and if we reach max speed lets us draw 2 cards whenever we would draw 1 card, while Rogue's Gloves draws a card if the creature it is attached to hits the opponent, as does the new Thief's Knife from Final Fantasy, which enters attached to a hero token. Tezzeret's Gatebreaker finds a blue or artifact card in our top 5 and puts it in our hand, and could also be put in the evasion category, because it can be sacrificed to make all our creatures unblockable, while Reconnaissance Mission lets all of our creatures draw a card whenever they hit the opponent, and can be cycled if there is no good opportunity to play it. Teferi's Ageless Insight lets us draw an extra card whenever we draw a card other than during our draw step, while Graven Lore draws 3 cards and scries equal to the amount of snow mana we spend to cast it. Finally, Jace Arcane Strategist has a passive ability to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature when we draw our second card each turn, and can enable his passive with his plus ability, and if we reach his ultimate, he makes the team unblockable. Our mana base consists largely of snow-covered islands, along with Fabled Passage and Prismatic Vista to search them up. We have Hall of Storm Giants and Faceless Haven as creature lands, as well as a number of utility lands. Mystic Sanctuary puts an instant or sorcery from our graveyard on top of our deck. Otawara Soaring City can be channeled for additional interaction, while Rivendell can scry if our commander is in play. Axis Tunnel makes one of our smaller creatures unblockable, while Amonkhet Raceway can give a creature haste if we have max speed. Drannith Ruins can put 2/+1/+1 counters on a non-human creature that entered under our control, while Muragonda Raceway can add 2 mana if we have max speed. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, can add additional mana if our devotion to blue is high, while Reliquary Tower makes it so that we have no maximum hand size. Finally, Plaza of Heroes and Tyrite Sanctum can protect our commander. So that's our Grazilaxx deck. Now it's time to take it into the queue and play some games. On the draw, facing Jadar, Ghoul Caller of Nephalia. So probably mono black sacrifice, although I guess you never know. I think this is keepable. We've got 3 lands, which is kind of the how many lands you want in your opening hand. I've got interaction with Strict Serenade, which is a versatile counterspell, a threat with Daring Saboteur, Verbose Host, not very useful early on, but if we can get in some hits with Daring Saboteur, then it'll get much better, and Ormos for top end. So I think we keep this. Draw Nykthos. I think we counter Arcane Signet here. Keep the moment. And that's enough for a concession. Alright. Well, that was quick. On we go. On the draw, which is kind of too bad because it means we won't be able to counter Bristly Bill if they play him on 2. I've got Cold Steel Heart for ramp, Daring Saboteur as an evasive threat, Mana Drain for interaction, Race's Scoreboard to refill our hand. I think we keep this. Another land is good. Pilfering Hawk. I think we play Cold Steel Heart, and then next turn, with Cold Steel Heart in play, that'll make it easier for us to hold up Mana Drain. So we'll be shields down this turn, but we can play 2-drop, hold up Mana Drain. Lotus Cobra is good landfall. At least opponent doesn't have a fetch land. They don't make use of the extra mana made by Lotus Cobra. Could play Mind Stone. So I think we'll do that. And then could tap out for Grazilaxx. But I think we start holding up Mana Drain here. Hitting Dungeon Geists for Bristly Bill would be nice, although of course the problem is Bill can put counters on other creatures, so they can just make all of their creatures big threats. Opponent ramps out Ant Queen. That's pretty big, and it's got a pretty good mana sink, so I think we counter that. We are going to take 6 here. Alright, drawing a land. So let's play Racer's Scoreboard with all this extra mana. And then what to discard? I think it's Pilfering Hawk. No, I shouldn't have tapped Mind Stone. Do I tap out for Grazilaxx? That would be more efficient, but it could be worth keeping up Disdainful Stroke if opponent's got another big play, so we'll hold on to it. We don't need Grazilaxx right now. we're lucky, opponent won't hit land drop. I think we go ahead and counter that. They always seem to have land. We'll take 5. I guess I should have discarded land with Racer's Scoreboard. Actually, I guess we'll... hold up Mind Stone so we can draw with it. And then let's loot first and then draw off Grazilaxx. Alright, we'll keep Counterspell. I'll draw a card. I think we'll ditch Strict Serenade because I don't think it would be a good idea to give opponent another threat. Wonder. I would definitely prefer to discard Wonder, so I don't think we cast it. Instead, we'll hold up Counterspell and we can sacrifice Mind Stone end of turn. Alright, let's counter that. And every time. This time to make use of the extra mana from Lotus Cobra, and unfortunately it's to play a ramp card, which also not only puts another land in play, it also ensures they hit their land drop for next turn. I'm gonna have to start chumping next turn with something. Opponent takes it. I'll discard Wonder. There's Dungeon Geists. But I'll need Icebind Pillar. Can't do anything about Quilled Great Worm. And then I have to block. I mean, I guess I don't have to, but then Lotus Cobra is lethal next turn. So I think we make this trade. Cycle Sensor. Alright, Quilled Great Worm's got Trample. So I think we have to swing for the fences and hope we draw Icebind Pillar here. You reach max speed. Spell Pierce, probably not going to be very good. And we're going to have to chump with Ormos. If opponent hits land drop, they can put counter on Quilled Great Worm, then you activate Bristly Bill, so we just die. Well, we're just dead here, because I don't have a counter spell, and it can't be countered anyway. Let's see what we would have hit off Ormos. So, nothing that would have saved us. So that's too bad. So, I think this came down to being on the draw and not being able to counter Bristly Bill with our counter spell. So, this deck really wants to be on the play, so hopefully we'll be on the play next time. On we go. So, unfortunately, we're on the draw again. Not sure about this hand. I do have 3 lands, which I like. An Arcane Signet's nice ramp. Not sure how good Negate's going to be in the matchup. And then Wonder... I guess I could trade off early. I think we'll try it. Alright. We draw more ramp with Ornithopter, which I think I'll play over Arcane Signet. Yeah, like if we'd been on the play, we would have been able to counter Rally the Hornbird with negate, although it's not the, especially first thing, it's not the worst. And then next turn I can play Arcane Signet, play Grazilaxx. Alright, would really like to draw a counterspell for Shadowfax. Would have preferred to have drawn land. And then let's cycle a reconnaissance mission, hope to draw Strict Serenade. We do not. Let's see what opponent puts in play with Shadowfax. An 8-drop. Alright, well, Pilfering Hawk's not going to do the trick. I don't have a Mass Bounce spell. Well, Swan Song. I don't know why opponent bothered, since they have lethal as is. Does opponent have another big creature to cheat into play? That wasn't the worst. Well, turns out we had the wrong interaction, and once again, I'm sure that being on the draw did not help. Better luck next time. On we go. On the play for once. Not sure why we got matched against Anim Pakal. I'm pretty sure She's much a commander who should be paired against more powerful commanders than ours. We've got some ramp. Gatebreaker maybe helps us find a counter spell. So I think we try it. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Well, we still have 3 lands, and we have Icebind Pillar for interaction. So we'll try this. Wonder would prefer to discard. Dynamite Diver. We'll get Skyray down. Alright, Firebrand Archer. Could trade, but I'd rather be able to get in with my Skyray. And then I think we tap out for Grazilaxx, draw a card with Skyray. I'm gonna need to find a discard outlet so I can start putting counters on the Skyray. So sadly, opponent is going to get to resolve Anim Pakal here, assuming they cast her. If they don't, they do. They could still attack with the Diver. Alright, another land's not bad. Alright, and then I can tap down Anim Pakal or hold up Strict Serenade. Although the problem with Strict Serenade is it creates a flying blocker. I don't think we can afford to let Roaming Throne resolve though, so... Pilfering Hawk. Alright, we generate 1 additional mana, so let's tap Nykthos here. And then Pilfering Hawk will let me attack past the bird with Skyray. So we don't have attacks this turn. I could use Pillar to tap down the bird, but I think I'd rather tap Anim Pakal down for now. Leonin Vanguard. We'll discard Wonder. Alright, and then can I play Sphinx, play and equip Gloves, hold up Icebind Pillar? No, I can play Gloves, play Sphinx, hold up Icebind Pillar. I'd have to tap out to equip Gloves. Don't mind trading the hero token for the bird. Opponent accepts the trade. Returning the hero token to my hand would be a disaster. And then Verbose Host. Sphinx does provide me with a decent blocker. We'll tap down Anim Pakal. Mana Drain. Alright, I've got Mana Drain, Wash Away, Icebind Pillar. Kefnet. Unfortunately, I don't have a bounce spell for Anim Pakal here. Alright, sink into Stupor. That lets me bounce Anim Pakal and then counter her on the way down with Wash Away. Or Essence Scatter. Alright, who can I attack with here? Gingerbrute, Skyray, I think. Alright, we'll counter that. And then let's bounce Anim Pakal while they're mostly tapped out. Now, am I dead if they attack all? They've got 7, 8, 9 attackers. I guess I am not. Alright. We'll take it. Let's see here. Okay, so if they attack all, block Archer with Sphinx, block the Diver with Verbose Host, block, take 5, so we would have fallen to 1. 1 is not 0, and then we would have had lethal on the way back. So there we go. Being on the play definitely helped, and having our threats be evasive and drawing all those cards off Skyray with Rogue's Gloves and Thief's Knife and Grazilaxx drew us the interaction we needed to win the game. There we go. On we go. On the play, we've got some ramp, some protection, an evasive threat. Keep safe, I don't know how good that's going to be in this matchup. Anyway, I think we try this. Opponent leads with Cleric class. I could ramp with Mind Stone, but I think we get Shoreline Looter down so I can start drawing and discarding, and hope to keep hitting my land drops. Alright, land is good. Dungeon Geists. I guess I'll discard Wharf Infiltrator here. Opponent taps their land to put an extra counter on the Millennium Calendar. Not something you would expect to see in a deck with Rosy Cotton as a commander. Like Rosy Cotton, we want to have lots of creatures to go with her because she doesn't put counters on herself. Would like to have drawn land. Let's discard Ornithopter here. Sunset Revelry. That's much better to play in a Rosy Cotton deck. Alright, would have preferred to draw land. I guess that was a bit of a mistake. Alright, there's land. And then, do I want to draw a card or create a treasure? I think we'll draw a card here. Opponent ramps with Replicating Ring. Land is good. Alright, I think we transform Iron Crag into an equipment here. Alright. Let's get Icebind Pillar. And then we'll play things. They should have picked Warkite Marauder. Alright, I'm a bit surprised opponent conceded, but I'll take it. They were also getting dangerously close to winning with Millennium Calendar. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I was going to do a little bit of a breakdown. Anyway, on we go. On the draw, only 2 lands, and neither of them are blue source. I mean, I've got spells I can cast with the mana I have, but I still don't think that's good enough. I think we want to look for 3 lands and an island. I don't know why I'm facing off against Emery here. She's usually considered a more powerful commander. I didn't think Grazilaxx was that powerful. Anyway, we'll have to hope that opponent is slow to get going. It doesn't resolve a Simulacrum Synthesizer or something scary like that. Although being on the draw is going to make it harder for us to interact favorably with the opponent's game plan. Alright. I've got 3 lands, because Sink into Stupor can be played as a land. I've got Chrome Mox for ramp, and then not sure what to exile. I think I'd like to hang on to the Aegis Sculptor, because I can ramp into it with Chrome Mox. And then keep Tail's End for Emery, which I can hold up as early as turn 1. So I think we exile Pilfering Hawk. Opponent doesn't have a turn 1 artifact. We draw land. So I could exile Sink into Stupor. Although maybe I'll want that now as interaction. So I think we still exile the Pilfering Hawk here. I could counter that. Okay, not sure what opponent conceded for. Maybe they thought I was going to counter it, since I had priority. I was thinking about it, but Search for Escanta doesn't let them play Emery faster. Although I suppose it would be good in an Emery deck, since you're putting cards into the graveyard, so you can surveil artifacts into the graveyard for Emery, and then it can find more artifacts once it transforms. So that makes a certain amount of sense. Anyway, I guess I'll take the free win. On we go. On the play, I've got Counterspell for interaction. Verbose Host can be a good blocker. Key to the City can help me attack past blockers. Ravenlore to refuel my hand. I think this is keepable. Then I think we'll play Verbose Host on 2, so I can start my engines. When it's got Voice the Blessed. And then we'll play Grazilaxx. No point attacking. Aerith Gainsborough. Alright. Okay. I thought opponent was in pretty good shape, but I'll take it. I mean, they could attack for free and put counters on Aerith, who enables herself, and Voice the Blessed. So as far as I was concerned, opponent was in great shape. And I would have much rather countered a Johnny's Strength of the Pride, but I'm pretty sure I didn't want Gideon's Company getting out of control. Well, we'll take it. Sometimes players just don't like counterspells. Anyway, that'll do it for this deck. I don't think Grazilaxx is the most powerful commander, and I'm not sure I built the deck the most optimally, since I didn't have great ways of interacting with opponents' threats once they had resolved. So that might be something I might change in a different build, is include more auras that tap creatures down. I just had the Dungeon Geists, and I only had one bounce spell with Sink into Stupor. But there's only so much room, so it can be hard to decide what to put in and what to leave out. Anyway, it's still nice if you can get going and draw lots of cards with Grazilaxx in play. So, hope you enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. Do please like and subscribe. If you'd like to see another commander from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, or a commander maybe from the new Final Fantasy set, let me know in the comments, and let me know if I should have made any plays differently. Thanks again. Have a good one. Bye.